Shuckle is weird. Not only is it some kind of disgusting tentacle monster, but it also has the most bizarre set of stats ever given to a Pokemon. While it may have the highest defense and special defense in the game, it also has the lowest speed, lowest special attack, and second lowest attack in Pokemon history. So is it true? Does defense win championships? I'm gonna find out by trying to beat Pokemon Soul Silver using just one Shuckle. We begin the game and head to the professor's lab to check out our choices for our starter. So we've got Shuckle, Shuckle, and Shuckle. All right. We make the obvious choice of Shuckle, then we have our first battle with our rival, where we're able to use our tentacles to squeeze every last drop of life out of his Cyndaquil. So far so good, maybe this run won't be so bad after all. Oh, we just lost to a level 3 Bellsprout. Fantastic. The big problem with Shuckle is it's not really designed to be used on its own. It's supposed to be a defensive wall that can set things up to support a larger strategy on a team, which is why when you use it solo, things like that tend to happen. Not to worry, we level up a few times and bide our way through the rest of the Sprout Tower, ending up around level 18 by the time we're able to defeat the Master. After completing the Sprout Tower Gauntlet, we're able to duke it out against the first gym leader, Faulkner. Our first attempt goes okay, but Faulkner just keeps going for Sand Attack with his Pidgey, which lowers our accuracy to the point where we just kind of lose. Then on our second attempt, we managed to make it past the Pidgey without getting our accuracy lowered too much, but we learned that his Pidgeotto has Roost. And when you're doing about this much damage per turn, your opponent being able to heal is a pretty serious problem. Luckily, we have a plan. We get past Faulkner's Pidgey without losing too much accuracy, then we get some damage on the Pidgeotto until we predict that it's gonna use Roost, which of course it does because it's a stupid bird. After the Roost, we're able to land an Encore, which locks it into only using Roost for the next several turns. We repeat the same thing, encoring it again, and now the Pidgeotto is basically out of PP for Roost, meaning it can't heal, and we're able to slowly, and I mean slowly, chip this thing down with Constrict. It's at this point in the run where I really start to question if I have enough years left on my life to beat this challenge. I mean, I'm already 27, and apparently that's old. Wait, what am I doing with my life? I'm just playing Pokemon to make videos on the internet? What is this? Existential crises aside, after defeating Faulkner, we head through this cave and into Azalea Town, where we have to deal with a little Team Rocket business in the Slowpoke well before we can take on the gym. We team up with this old guy who just kind of falls down the well and breaks his leg before anything happens, so it's all up to old Daddy Q and his trusty Shuckle. Normally, this is a nice, easy intro to the annoyance that is Team Rocket in this game. These battles aren't supposed to be particularly hard or rewarding in any way. I think the leading theory here is that Game Freak included the whole Team Rocket plot to artificially extend the length of the game. And extend the length of the game they did because, wow, these Rocket Grunts are difficult to deal with Shuckle. These Zubats confuse us and then they heal with Leech Life, which is like 1 point of healing at a time, but when you only deal 1 point of damage and you hit yourself in confusion a bunch, the math doesn't really work out in our favor. Plus, they've got Ekans and Coughings and shit that can poison us, and when it takes like 12 turns to kill something, being poisoned is pretty bad. But as we're struggling our way through this cave, our Shuckle does manage to level up to level 22, where it learns the move Wrap, which is a truly terrible move in the grand scope of Pokemon as a whole, but if you stare at Shuckle's level up learn set for long enough, Wrap starts to look pretty hot. It's got 15 base power instead of the 10 that Constrict has, and it does a tiny bit of damage over time at the end of each turn after you land it. So it at least matches really well with our Shuckle because they both suck ass. Anyway, eventually we managed to just barely squeak by the Team Rocket leader with 7 HP and move on into the second gym where we fight Bugsy. Bugsy isn't too bad, his lead Scyther hits pretty hard, but it usually U-turns out and lets us kill his Metapod for free. This Metapod also only knows Tackle, which does 1 damage to Shuckle, so we can set up with Withdraw to max out our defense before he brings Scyther back in. We're also able to get the Metapod low enough that Bugsy uses his only Super Potion on it, which is much better for us than him healing one of his other 2 Pokemon. With our defense maxed, his Scyther really isn't too much of an issue, but what is an issue is his final Pokemon, Kakuna. It's honestly kind of hilarious that Kakuna is such a big problem in this fight because I don't think anyone in the history of Pokemon has ever had an issue defeating a Kakuna before, but it's his most dangerous Pokemon by far. And that is simply because it has the move Poison Sting, which may not do very much damage on its own. The problem is that every time Poison Sting connects, next, it has a 10% chance to poison our Shuckle. And if that happens, we just basically lose. We just don't have the damage to kill it before we die to poison. Fortunately for us, we find a way around this problem. At this point, we're able to level our Shuckle up to level 27, where it learns the most vital move for this challenge: Rest. Rest puts your Pokemon to sleep for 2 turns, but in exchange, it heals you up to full HP and cures any status conditions. With this healing ability, Shuckle towers above these mere mortal bugs as an unkillable god, and we're able to roll through Bugsy and get our second gym badge. After the gym, we try to move on into the Ilex Forest, but we're stopped by our rival, who temporarily puts me into cardiac arrest with his lead Ghastly. You see, our only 2 damaging moves are both normal type, which of course can't hit his ghost type Ghastly. I start to wonder if this is the reason why there are no recorded runs of this challenge on YouTube. I mean, it seems so straightforward. Beat soulsilver with Shuckle, post it to YouTube, and you're basically famous at that point, right? Is this challenge not possible because of just one Pokemon on our rival's team? I'll tell you the answer to this and many other important questions after you take a quick second to like the video and subscribe to the channel. You're 2 gyms deep on a Shuckle-only playthrough of Pokemon Soul Silver. I know you're enjoying yourself. Come on. Anyway, after a long research session, we find a potential solution to our problem. We look up the TMs that Shuckle's able to learn, and one in particular sticks out. The TM in question is for the move Rock Tomb, which is a move you pretty much always get access to early in Pokemon games. And it turns out that Pokemon is formulaic. Shocker. I know. What I mean is that we're able to double back and grab the TM for Rock Tomb from the cave we went through to get here originally. Side note, I do see how useful Rock Tomb would have been in the Bugsy fight. That is not lost on me. Anyway, now we're able to damage this Ghastly, but there's still another problem. Our rival's Ghastly just so happens to know the move Curse, which is kind of like getting poisoned on steroids. This move cuts its own HP in half to curse our Pokemon and make us take 25% of our HP at the end of each turn. In other words, getting hit by a curse is an instant death sentence for Shuckle. Luckily for us, there is a chance that this Ghastly won't use Curse and instead will try to hit us with Hypnosis or Mean Look or some other dumb move. So basically, we just have to reset over and over until we're able to land 2 Rock Tombs without getting cursed. Eventually, this does happen. We take out the Ghastly without being cursed, and we're able to one-shot his Zubat, then take down his Quilava without any issue. From here, we head into the Ilex Forest, where we snag a couple Rogue Farfetch, help out a lost schizophrenic lady, and meet this guy who clearly does not know the serious health risks of head trauma. Then we arrive in Goldenrod City, where we can take on the gym leader Whitney and her big sexy Miltank. Her first Pokemon, Clefairy, isn't really too much of a problem. It's just kind of annoying because it likes to use Metronome a bunch, but this Clefairy is useful in that we can get Whitney to burn a heal on it before it dies, which is helpful, but turns out Whitney actually has 2 potions and she'll only use the second one on Miltank, not to mention that her Miltank also has the move Milk Drink, which is another heal. Oh, and also this Miltank only attacks with Rollout, which is super effective against Shuckle and gets more and more powerful each turn it's used. Yeah. It's not looking great for your boy. We take L after L to this Miltank, all while refining our strategy, trying to find something that might work. Eventually, we have an idea. We use Withdraw against our Clefairy 6 times to max out our defense before we take it out. From there, we chip this Miltank down until it's just above the point where Whitney will heal it. Once we get it low enough, we wait for her to start up a fresh round of Rollout, which locks her Miltank into only using Rollout for up to 5 turns. Once she's locked in, we unleash as much damage as possible and hope to kill it before the rollout ends and Whitney's able to heal it. This is a delicate process, so it takes a few attempts, but eventually we're able to get the timing just right and take out this Milky Mama. Let's go! From here, we make our way up to Ecruteak City, where we find the Burn Tower, and we have another battle with our rival. This time, not only does he have his annoying curse-using Ghastly, but he's also added a Magnemite to his team, which has the move Sonic Boom. If you've been playing Street Fighter 6, you know just how annoying that move can be. In Pokemon, Sonic Boom does a flat 20 damage every time it's used, regardless of defense. Usually that's pretty harmless, but Shuckle has really low HP and relies on its defenses to keep it alive. So since this bypasses the only thing we have going for us, it's a bit of a problem. Luckily, this Magnemite doesn't use that attack every turn, because if it did, we would have no chance of winning. After we get lucky enough to avoid getting cursed by his Ghastly, and lucky enough that his Magnemite decides to go for a bunch of Supersonics and Thunder Waves instead of Sonic Booms, we're able to chip it down and beat a Zubat and Quilava without too much issue. After beating our rival, we go scare away these 3 puppies, then head into the next gym. And oh man, this gym. You know how our rival has that really annoying Ghastly with Curse? You know, the one we were just talking about that keeps making us reset over and over? Well, imagine that, but instead of just one Ghastly, it's a full team of Ghastlies, and it's every trainer in the goddamn gym. The First Lady has like 5 Ghastlies. Why? Anyway, we clear out our afternoon calendar to reset and RNG our way through those battles until we finally get to the gym leader Morty. We start duking it out with the Spooky King until our Shuckle gets to level 40, where it learns the move Bug Bite. Let me take a second to put this in perspective for you. We have a level 40 Pokemon, and the best 4 moves we're able to put together are Rock Tomb, Bug Bite, Rest, and Wrap. Yeah, that plus 10 points in the attack stat is what we're working with to beat Morty. In the end, there's not really too much to this battle. We pretty much just have to dodge getting cursed by his lead Ghastly, then use Bug Bite to eat his Gengar's Citrus Berry and slowly chip it down with Rock Tomb. Then of course we have to avoid getting cursed by his 2 Haunters, which is highly skill based and there is no RNG necessary. Yes, Mrs. Hypnosis? Yes? Okay, don't miss. I just can't miss 2 in a row. Okay, we win. Nice. After our victory, we're finally able to move on. We grab the HM for Surf, then climb to the top of this lighthouse where we're given the glorious task of sailing around the ocean to Cianwood City to get medicine for this sick Whittle Amphilos. But at least while we're over there, we can take on the next gym. This one is pretty interesting because this is the first time where the gym leader has 2 Pokemon who both have super effective moves against Shuckle. Not to worry though, at this point our Shuckle hits level 48, where it learns the last move in its level up learn set, Power Trick. This is a really weird, pretty specific move that does something kind of insane. When used, Power Trick swaps your Pokemon's defense stat with its attack stat, which changes Shuckle from a weak little baby like you to a big strong man like me, like I am. This takes Shuckle from being tied for the 2nd worst attack stat in the game to having the highest attack by far. This may seem like it would be completely broken, but the thing is that after we Power Trick, our defense becomes so low that pretty much any physical attack will instantly kill us. And let's not forget, we're still the slowest Pokemon in existence. Not to worry though, both of Chuck's Pokemon have the move Focus Punch, which is a powerful attack, but it always goes last, and it fails if your Pokemon is hit during the turn. For some reason, they love to use this move against our powered up Shuckle. So after his Primeape goes for Double Team on turn 1, we're able to set up our Power Trick and one-shot it with a Bug Bite on the next turn. Then he brings in his Poliwrath, and this happens. Oh, it's Focus Punching, but it's gonna die from the Bug Bite. What an idiot. Oh no, it lost its focus. Body Slam, do we live that? We resist. Oh, we live, let's go. Easy peasy. Okay, so Power Trick is just insane on Shuckle. After defeating the gym leader, we get a wife for Buckle from this dude in town, then get the medicine and bring it back across the ocean to heal the Ampharos and unlock our ability to take on the next gym leader, whose name is Jasmine and who specializes in steel types. We take one look at our moveset and realize this is gonna be a problem, isn't it? Not only do her Pokemon resist every one of our attacks, her Ace Steelix also hits us super effectively with Iron Tail and does ridiculous damage. We try out a few different strategies, mostly trying to cheese the fight with the Power Trick and hoping her Steelix misses a few attacks, but nothing really works out. There just has to be a better way here. We go back to the drawing board and look for new potential strategies. We look back at the moves that Shuckle can learn, and we find that we had actually skipped over picking up the TM for Dig in the National Park, a ground type move which of course hits Jasmine's whole team super effectively. We grab the TM and make the tough decision to overwrite Bug Bite in our moveset, then we get to digging. We're able to one-shot her Magnemite with the 4 times effective power of Dig, but when we get to her Steelix, it's not quite enough. So what we have to do is level our Shuckle up to level 55, where it actually somehow outspeeds her Steelix. Now on turn 1 against her lead Magnemite, we set up a Power Trick, then take it out after it misses a Supersonic. Then since we outspeed her Steelix, we're able to use a Dig on turn 1 to one-shot it with our boosted attack, and finally we finish off our Magnemite. With Jasmine defeated, we head up to Mahogany Town, where we begin the long, arduous process of dealing with Team Rocket. First, it's the Red Gyarados, then we team up with Lance and find the secret radio tower in town, and Lance literally kills a guy. Then we go into the secret lair under the secret radio tower with all the alarms and all the battles that take forever because we only have Shuckle, who barely does any damage and misses half of its moves. Then we use a bird to unlock this room room and battle this guy before Team Rocket runs off and we blow up their source of power or something. I don't know, this whole part has never made any sense to me. But we do all that, then we get to take a break from Team Rocket for a bit and fight the next gym leader. He's an ice guy and he's really not that hard to beat. We don't even have to use Power Trick, we just kind of throw a bunch of rocks at him and beat him on our first try. After that easy victory, it's time for, you guessed it, more super fun, awesome, engaging Team Rocket content. Only it's in the radio tower in Goldenrod this time. Then we go to the tunnels under the city and back to the radio tower till all these fools are dealt with. We do have a rival battle somewhere in the middle of all this, but it's pretty much more of the same. His team is a little bit stronger, but so are we, so it kind of equals out, and don't worry, his Haunter still knows Curse, but we still win after a couple tries. With Team Rocket dealt with and the world saved yet again, we're able to move on to the final gym leader of Johto. We make our way to Blackthorn City, then traverse the treacherous pools of lava that they built into the gym for some reason as we battle through the trainers. These trainers do give us a bit of trouble though, because some of them have Pokemon who know the move Dragon Rage. Much like the move Sonic Boom that we talked about before, Dragon Rage deals a flat 40 damage regardless of defense. Let's just take a quick look at our Shuckle's HP. Yep, that's gonna be a problem. Well, hopefully the gym leader doesn't have any Pokemon who have Dragon Rage. Fortunately, this Gyarados using Dragon Rage on turn 1 gives us the perfect opportunity to set up Power Trick, which allows us to one-shot it with a Rock Tomb on the next turn after it hits us with a bite. This activates our Citrus Berry and heals up 25% of our HP, which comes in handy against her next Pokemon, Kingdra, who has the move Hydro Pump, which does a lot of damage. We're able to take out this Kingdra, but then she sends in her Dragonair, who just kind of kills us with the super effective Aqua Tail since our defense is super low from Power Trick. So what we end up having to do to solve this is set up a Power Trick to take the Gyarados out, then follow that up by stalling out the Kingdra's PP for Hydro Pump by healing with Rest and waiting it out. Once it's out of Hydro Pumps, it can't really do too much damage to our Shuckle, so we're free to heal up with Rest and take it out. This allows us to go up against her Dragonair with basically full HP, and with our HP topped up, we're able to live through an Aqua Tail and take it out with a single Rock Tomb. Next, she brings in her second Dragonair, which doesn't have any physical moves, so as long as we live through its first attack, we're home free. Oh, slam. We resist that though. Not Para? Yes. Yes. And just like that, we've secured all 8 gym badges, meaning we only have a couple things left to do. First, we have to go kill Lugia in the Whirl Islands. I don't know what it is, but watching this derpy little tentacle monster easily dispatch a Lugia is just hilarious to me. Then with that whole climax of the plot thing dealt with, it's off to the Elite Four. But before we can battle the final 4 trainers, we have one last rival battle at the end of Victory Road. We teach Shuckle Earthquake from a TM, then head into battle. At this point, our rival has a full team of 6 Pokemon, but don't worry, we have Shuckle. We're able to one-shot his Sneasel with a Rock Tomb and his Magneton with an Earthquake, then he brings in his Haunter. Ah yes, it does still know Curse, but that's nothing a couple resets can't fix. With the Haunter taken out, the rest of his team really can't do much against Shuckle, so we systematically take them out one at a time. And now with our rival defeated, we can head in to take on the Elite Four. Starting off with the first trainer, Will. A couple Rock Tombs is more than enough to take out his lead Xatu, then he brings in his Slowbro and we set up a Power Trick. It proceeds to go for Curse over and over, so we're able to take it out without taking any more damage. The thing is that after defeating Slowbro, we actually level up, which, as we found out here, reverts our attack and defense back to their original values. It didn't kill? So after we take out his Jinx with a couple Rock Tombs, we have to use Power Trick again to have any chance of killing his tanky Executor. Okay, we outspeed and hit it with an Earthquake. Nice. That kills. Nice. Okay. Good thing it didn't hit us with a Night Bomb. Just hit it. Oh, Confused Ray is so annoying. 66% chance to win, right? Yes. Yes. Okay. Thank you. That took way longer than it should have. After Will comes the ex-Kanto Gym Leader, Koga. I wonder if this... I don't think this kills because this thing is just a beast, right? Oh? Oh, it does. Oh my god, it does. Okay. Crobat. With Wing Attack. As long as we live 1. Oh, Double Team is really annoying. Please hit. Yes. That's it. That's a W. First try. Next up is the fighting type specialist Bruno, which is another pretty straightforward fight. But we can't use Power Trick because all his Pokemon hit on the physical side, so we would just die after we set it up. Instead, we have to give Shuckle a Leppa Berry to hold, which recharges the PP for Earthquake after we use it all up, tickling our opponents. With that extra PP, we're able to Earthquake his whole team down and move on to the next trainer, Karen. Turn 1 against her Umbreon, we set up a Power Trick, then one-shot it with an Earthquake. Then against her Murkrow, we take the opportunity to Power Trick our stats back to normal. Then we accidentally Power Trick a third time, which makes it so we have to Power Trick a fourth time, which brings our stats back to normal again, I think. Anyway, after all of that, we have to rest to heal up. Next, we take out the Murkrow with a couple Rock Tombs and Earthquake down her Houndoom. Then she brings in her Gengar, who we Rock Tomb as well. And finally, her Vileplume comes in. We Power Trick for a 5th time to boost our attack and one-shot it with an Earthquake. Now that we've defeated Karen, there's just one last battle against the champion Lance. Oh boy, strap in because this one was a doozy. Lance's team is pretty strong, especially when you consider the fact that he has 6 Pokemon, and I'm just over here rocking a level 72 Shuckle. I'm going to start by outlining the issues that we have in this fight because there are quite a few. First off, his Gyarados has the move Waterfall and his Aerodactyl has the move Rock Slide, both of which hit Shuckle super effectively. No biggie, we can beat them with some rests and some super effective Rock Tombs, but then we run into the second issue, which is that Lance has 3 full restores. So even if we survive his onslaught of super effective moves and manage to beat his team down, we don't have enough Rock Tombs to take out all 6 of his Pokemon. Okay, so why don't I just use Power Trick and one-shot everything? Well, turns out his entire team has super strong physical attacks, and they all definitely outspeed Shuckle, so Power Trick is pretty much off the table for this one. Then on top of that, I realized that all 6 of his Pokemon are flying type, which means that we can't even hit them with our second attack, Earthquake. Oh, and also he has 3 Dragonites, which are insanely strong. Yeah, this was absolutely the hardest battle in the game. We tried this fight a few times without making any changes just to see how far we could get, but we just didn't have the damage to make it past Lance's 4th Pokemon. It's at this point where we realized that we're gonna need to make some changes to have any chance of winning here. Mainly changes to our moveset. Luckily, we had a couple TMs stashed away that Shuckle could actually learn. We replaced Earthquake with Sludge Bomb, which can actually hit Lance's Pokemon, and swapped out Power Trick for Protect. Against Lance's lead Gyarados, we start by chucking a couple Sludge Bombs at it and hope it gets poisoned. Our biggest issue in this fight by far is just not having enough damage, so landing a couple poisons and letting the damage tick is absolutely critical. Luckily, our second Sludge Bomb crits and poisons the Gyarados. We Protect as the poison takes Gyarados down into range for Lance's first full restore. After the full restore, we fire off another Sludge Bomb and hope for a second poison, which on this very lucky attempt, we actually managed to get. With his Gyarados poisoned, Lance decides to swap it out and bring in his Aerodactyl. The strategy here is simple and probably familiar: Sludge Bomb and hope for a poison, which amazingly we also get on the very first turn. We use a combination of Rest and Protect to stall out this Aerodactyl, then from here Gyarados comes back in and we pick up where we left off. We stall it out with Rest and Protect as the poison works its magic. After the Gyarados goes down, we find ourselves up against his level 50 Ace Dragonite. This thing hits super hard with Outrage, which works in our favor as it hits itself in confusion twice and we land a clutch poison. We stall out the rest of its HP, then Lance sends in his second Dragonite. We withstand its barrage of Dragon Rushes and land 2 Sludge Bombs, leaving it poisoned. Then we rest as Lance uses his second full restore, healing the poison and restoring its HP. We fire off our final Sludge Bomb, which activates our Leppa Berry, giving us 10 more Sludgy Bombs. Before long, we take this second Dragonite out and Lance sends in his third and final Dragonite. Much like his fallen brothers, this one gets a nice face full of sludge, which leaves it poisoned as we go night-night to heal up. Before long, the third Dragonite is down and now it's just one Shuckle versus Lance's final Pokemon, Charizard. This guy just so happens to get hit 4 times effectively by Rock-type moves, so we get to finish it off Shuckle style with a few final Rock Tombs. And just like that, we have proven once and for all that you do not fuckle with Shuckle. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. Till next time.